Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and Iman here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to talk about Orion Protocol. So, last couple of days we've been kind of working hard, and today we kind of discovered this potential project that looks very, very promising. So,
yeah, we're at like a point in the market, right? We just went through like a huge dump,
yeah,
like a dumpening event. Pretty much everything across the board went down at least 30 to 40%, right?
yeah,
You would say. So now's the time. I mean, we're starting to see plenty of signals of reversal. So where do we hop on, right, for the next leg up?
yeah.
What the best cryptocurrencies to speculate on moving forward?
So
Orion standing out as one of them, right?
yeah, so at 342 million market cap, it's at reasonably good entry point here. And then take a look at the performance over its maximum length, right? So July 2020 that came out, and it's around $2, and it's been hovering around that price for a good minute. And then, just like everything else, it kind of exploded, and then now it did the recent dumpening that we saw just in the last couple of weeks. And so now it's at a reasonable entry point, $13. But let's talk about what this is. So if you go to the website, it says the future of trading is here, right? Every single crypto project is going to change the future, man. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, agreed. And if you go to their Twitter and like look at their pinned announcement trailer, whatever launch trailer,
Yeah.
apparently every crypto project is like being made in space too.
Yeah. It's like it's in a spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this crazy like future, right? Like, I mean, it's cool. I'm not knocking them on the production. Everybody needs
Yeah.
some flair, right? Like, how do you sexify an exchange? Like, come on, dude, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Really nothing sexy about it. But point being, everyone's using the similar narrative, right? Like you're pointing something out here. Like everybody says the same thing.
Yeah.
First,
Exactly.
We're changing the world somehow. So how do you actually distinguish who's actually doing it, right?
Yeah, who's actually changing the world? Well, from Orion's standpoint, it looks like what they're doing is they're building the first gateway to the entire crypto market. So Orion's terminal will aggregate every single centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, and swap pool into a single terminal, which is extremely useful for those of you traders out there who are jumping around different exchanges trying to hop onto the next degen coin out there. And so what they're trying to do is aggregate all those exchanges into a single place. So what's interesting about Orion is that they're a multi-chain platform. So it's not just Ethereum, it's not just Binance, but it's eventually going to be Avalanche, Polkadot, and a bunch of others. So one of the more interesting things is that they have a staking solution as well, and the APYs are pretty wild. They're like sushi wild potentially. But we'll get into that in a second. Here's the different chain agnostic platform that they're building. So they've already integrated Ethereum and Binance. The next is going to be Avalanche, Elrond, Huobi, Polkadot, Cardano, and Phantom. So
I mean, that's a killer list, pretty much.
Yeah, if they accomplish this, I mean, the market cap here is nothing compared to what it can be.
Exactly. Yeah, it seems to be like a common trend among projects we like to, I don't know, that we gravitate towards is their cross-chain strategy, right? Like if you're not like, if part of your roadmap or like your narrative is that we're trying to bridge all these ecosystems together, you're missing out in some one shape or another. If it's an NFT ecosystem, you've got to be interoperable. You can't just be siloed into whatever network it is you're building on, right? It's all the future is multi-chain for sure.
You know what's interesting though is that like Polkadot's value add is that if you're on Polkadot, then you have access to a multi-chain network. But they're taking the stance of they're doing the integrations themselves, and that platform is going to be connected to every single chain that you see here. So even though that they're onboarding to Polkadot via Moonbeam, it says Moonbeam gives them immediate access to the many integrations. They're not
more bullishness for Moonbeam, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is a project we talked about in the past. That's why. But what's interesting is that they're not just on Polkadot, which will hopefully give them access to all these different networks. Instead, they're integrating into the networks independently from any other project. So it's just an interesting kind of like scenario kind of spawning at this point that eventually Polkadot is supposed to be aggregating all these chains, but projects themselves are doing their own legwork to integrate everything.
Mm-hmm.
So a bunch of partners here, Chainlink, and different exchanges. Obviously, since they're aggregating all the exchanges, they have to pretty much partner with every single one. And partner, the word partner is being stretched here because all these exchanges, they offer APIs. So I'm pretty sure that they're just integrating these different APIs onto a single platform and and leveraging it.
Mm-hmm.
So so a partnership to me is kind of more like a closer relationship, like but it's still,
regardless, it's still a representation of, like, I guess,
yeah,
the vastness of the network, if they're trying to achieve, right?
yeah, for sure. So another interesting thing is beyond this is if you go look at the Orion token, and
Yeah.
all the links will be in the description, but the main prominent thing is they have 18 different revenue streams.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the things that stood out for sure. Like, the tokenomics is pretty sound. Like, it's a very good design in the sense that, you expect your token to have as much utility as possible. So one of the main features of this utility is it's the reduction of the abundance of fees that exist on this platform. Because this is a robust ecosystem in the same sense that the graph is a robust ecosystem. Chainlink is robust, right? There's lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different fees going on.
Yeah.
So in order to optimize that, like, ecosystem, you need a good utility token to, like, reduce those fees, right? So this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they're focusing on.
So if you read through the different 18 different revenue streams, you'll see that there's fees on top of every single basic transaction that you do, which is reasonable, right? That's how these exchanges make money. That's why Coinbase made over $1 billion in a single quarter, more than they did all of the last year together, right?
Correct.
So that's how they sustain their business. So this is good. And a lot of times you look at crypto projects, many times they don't even have a product, so much less a revenue stream. The fact that they have revenue streams and 18 of them, I mean, that just adds speculative value to their token.
Correct. I agree.
And of course, a roadmap, which is pretty wild here. But all through 2021, they got integrations lined up. So this is definitely huge for them. And for any trader out there, I think this is like one of the places that you should be looking at just to do your trades. So what is their
but see, that's what's interesting, man. Like, as soon as we got here, the first thing we noticed is the fee, right? 0.2%.
Yeah.
And how quickly that can get out of control. That's double what Coinbase is, right?
That's double Coinbase, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, that's not a cheap trading environment.
Here's the thing. It's like, it's expensive compared to the competitors out there. But if you're in these different markets and you need a single location to kind of do all these transactions, I mean, there's no better bet than Orion, right? And so it's about, like, convenience and speed and, like, what efficiency. Yeah. What are you connected right now that you can actually trade these different tokens right off the bat? And so in some cases, like, you'd have to jump around to different exchanges, but since they aggregate it for you, you pay for that convenience. Otherwise, you'd have to jump around.
Yeah, and I also think it's also to position themselves to deploy this tokenomic model they have, in the sense that if they didn't have such a high bar for fees, they wouldn't have as much to work with as far as, like, really selling that utility of the Orion token, as in, like, it's a fee reduction tool.
Yeah.
Right. Like, if they had low fees, like, who the hell cares? Like, I don't need the token. I'll just take advantage of these low fees. Right.
Yeah, for sure. So part of this application itself, one of their huge value adds is staking. And so if we go to the Orion staking calculator, let me pull it up here. Here it is. If we go to the staking calculator, you can basically kind of mirror exactly the market conditions for their APY. And so if you look at, and we're speculating here that they have a different staking mechanism than the standard liquidity pool mining. And their liquidity pool mining right now has a total deposited of 22 million tokens worth of Orion. And their APY for liquidity mining is 100% over the year. So you basically double your money over that year, at least from this current snapshot, right? This is a fluctuating APR.
Yeah.
But we were looking at this, and it's like 22 total deposited by their calculator. If 22 is actually deposited, and let's say you stake about $13,000, right? If the price is $13, then you would get, and if we try to match 112%, you would get somewhere around here. So
this is what's weird, because we spent a lot of time trying to find the daily volume for this protocol, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't find it. And I think it makes sense why it's so difficult to find, because this, at least in my head, there is no actual protocol volume, right? Because it's an aggregator of outside protocols. So like the volume's going to them, right?
Yep.
So it's more like, what would you categorize this volume as? It's more like, what did you call it?
It's like a fee measurement, essentially.
Yeah.
Because think about it. If you go back to their fee structure, there's 18 different revenue streams. They're all based on fees. If you get their fees, their amount of fees that they've aggregated over the year, and you basically divide that by its average percentage. Let's say the average percentage was 0.02. You just divide that by that 0.2%. Then you would get the total volume actually moved through Orion. And so, I
guess you could make those calculations too, if they would just display the volume, right? And then you could just
see how much money they're making.
Yeah, or see, according to the fee percentages. But I don't know. I guess you guys in the comments, if you know Orion better than we do, and you know where to get that information, please comment and let us know. Because the daily volume obviously is critical to this fee calculator or this reward calculator, right?
Yeah, and this 24-hour volume is basically the actual token trading. So that's different than what we're looking for. We want to know how much, if you were to use their application, how much is actually being traded as a volume with all these tokens. So that's the number we're looking for.
Yeah, because that's the number also you want to keep up your eye on, right? Isn't there like a breakdown list of all these different dexes on CoinGecko?
Yeah.
And Orion not being on that list, right?
Yeah, so if we look at the decentralized finance ticker here, then you'll be able to see all the exchanges actually
right next to it. DEX.
Yeah, decentralized exchange. Yeah, you'll be able to see that Orion's not on this list.
Yeah, and this is the list largely you to pay attention to, right? To see who's the up and comer. I wish they had like a little green up arrow, little red down arrows over here, just to kind of let you know like who's moving on up and who's like taking a shit.
Yeah.
That would be very useful.
Yeah. So it's interesting. One thing they probably need to do is probably integrate the graph or Covalent or any of these indexers, and just to collect all this information and kind of display it for projects like CoinGecko. I think it would help them a lot actually, but they haven't done so.
Yeah, because that's the main metric, right? Like as soon as you see the DEX volume increasing regularly, I mean, speculative value is attached to that, right? Like, could this thing snowball and become like as big as Uniswap one day, which is what, like 16, 20 billion or something right now?
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's your differential right there. We're talking like 30, 40, 50x, you know what I mean?
Easily.
Yeah, easily.
So now going back to their Twitter, 58,000 followers. Yeah, this is sufficiently a big project. And what's interesting about this one is that you can actually use it. And so this is one that caught our eye. And going back to this chart here, the Orion protocol price and the kind of the overview of everything in the last year, like it hasn't really exploded yet, or it hasn't come back alive from this last dump. So I mean, this is as good as timing as you're going to get.
Agreed. Yeah, I like it. I think it's very promising, and they have the right strategy. Being chain agnostic and establishing that foothold in all these other ecosystems early on, right? Like they already have access to Elrond and Avalanche, which are pretty much emerging ecosystems. They already have plans for Polkadot, which we know is going to be a booming ecosystem as soon as it's live, right? So they're already positioning themselves to like capitalize on that market and onboard. So strategically, these guys are blowing it out of the park for sure.
Yeah.
Strategy is perfect.
Yeah, and one of the major things they talk about is being completely decentralized. So, we talk about the graph a lot. That's completely decentralized. They have a broker system. So a broker's typically a guy that you give your money to, and he's supposed to be so smart to like make you a ton of money. But in this decentralized network, a broker has like a very specific function, and it's more like operates like a node or an indexer. If you're kind of using the parallels between Orion and the graph. So an indexer is supposed to use big machines to index the entire blockchain so that developers can call specific data. But a broker here is supposed to supply money into this liquidity system and facilitate these trades in exchange for those big fees, right, that you're paying for when you're doing these exchanges, right? So it has a very specific decentralized functionality, and all this is explained on their site. It's pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah, that's another cool thing. It's in line with what we already like.
Yeah.
We like seeing these decentralized ecosystems, like I like to see different like multi-actor, networks and like, a true DAO governance structure, all that stuff. Like that's the stuff that gets me going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So yeah, I think that covers everything we want to talk about today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io and also at Ethermon_NFT. And like, subscribe. Let us know what you think about Orion and their exchange. And we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.